size helped more so maybe than the game that you played last week? Kofi first.
I think it helped a lot more. They were really they were a lot more physical team. They were better defensively with that pack line defense with us like clogging up the middle. I think it was a great experience for us, just to get a taste of that because it's going to be a lot of that in the Big Ten. So overall, I think it was really good.
Pretty much what he said. I think they gave us a really good look. Kudos to them. They're a good team, well-coached team. I don't think that we were that good on both sides of the ball. We have higher expectations for ourselves, and that was reiterated in the locker room. But like I said, they're a well-oiled machine. Respect to them.
I guess if I could start with you, Jake, taking that pregame. What was that moment like to get the rings and kind of share that moment after last year was played empty for you guys and Kofi after that?
A lot of hard work went into that ring, and the biggest thing for us is moving on to this year. That's a incredible accomplishment, and having been through last season and doing everything, and now knowing what it takes to get to that ring, I think we need to get back to some philosophies, if you would, because it's an interesting moment getting that ring, and like I said, knowing all the work that goes into it. And I think we could have been better tonight. So just moving forwards, if anything, it was some inspiration. Get another one of those this year. Yeah.
Kofi, same question.
Same question, Kofi.
Repeat it.
Just what it was like for you to get that, and then obviously Io was able to make it back for a short period too. Just what that pregame moment was like for you.
I think it was a really special moment. I try to tell myself that when you're a great player, when you're a really good player, you don't need motivation to do anything. I feel like it should be an obligation when you have that chip on your shoulder. So getting that ring today was a great feeling to know that we won we won last year, but it happened. We celebrated it in the locker room. We're gonna celebrate it later on, but it's on to this year, man. We have a lot of growing up to do. A long way ahead, so we have to prepare for that.
Jake, obviously on the perimeter, you guys were a little shorthanded without Trent for most of that game, DeMonte and Austin. What was the impact of that, and what did you learn from not having those guys out there?
I mean, those guys are vets. It showed tonight. Dudes had to step up. It's college basketball. It's next man up mentality. It showed that we missed them. Can't wait to have them back. But it's not when you're in the game, you're not thinking about who you're missing. It's you have what you have, and that's why you practice every day. That's why everybody's a part of practice, so that they can step up. And I think some guys did some good things, but like I said, our standard is way higher. We got a long ways to go.
Jake, maybe to follow up on that part of it, what's tonight more about maybe what you guys didn't do, or what IUP did against you? How did you see maybe where you fell short in some areas?
I don't know. It's really all about us. We need to do what we practice and what coach preaches. It's not too complicated. I don't have anything too juicy to comment on that. We simply put, we have a higher standard, offense and defense, and we'll get there.
Kofi, when Coleman's on the court, what does he give you specifically and the team? Now that you've seen him mature a little bit.
He gives versatility. He's a player that could do it all, both defensively and offensively. He just gives us that fire. As you see today, he had a couple great plays where he dominated the rim and he just started screaming and yelling. He gives us that great energy, that feel that we need. I try to give that to the team. Trent does a great job, DeMonte. But I feel like Coleman just brings another level of energy and versatility.
Yeah, Kofi, this one's for you. I guess kind of it took you a little bit to get going, maybe, and then in the second half you kind of exploded and you've ended up finishing with 21. Their coach praised you and your ability to keep going and going and going because of your strength and everything. Were you able to kind of get over some frustration or anything like that at any point in the game tonight?
I wouldn't say frustration. I think they did a really good job with just denying the post and doubling it and clogging it up. It was just about me pushing through. This is a learning step for me. I'm trying to get past being frustrated and just know that go with the flow of the game. You know, if that's how it's going, that's how it's going. My teammate will be getting clearer shots, you know, opener shots, and when they knock that down, it's going to open up for me. So it's just in due time.
Jake, yesterday I think Coach said Luke Goody is one of the best trash talkers on the team, and we see he kind of chatty out there and brings some energy. What have you noticed about him in the few months you've gotten to know him?
I mean, he's a young gun. I think, you know, as a freshman, you come in and you want to prove a little bit of something. But similar to Coleman, I think he brings a lot of energy. I don't really I keep the main thing the main thing. I don't really let my mind wander and dabble on, you know, things like that. But like I said, he's a young gun. Good kid. He's going to be a really good player. Really sound, maturer than his age. Yeah.
Hey Jake, this is for you. It looked like they were leaving you guys open at the three-point line in the corner and up top, and Coleman hesitated to shoot there late. What does Coach tell you guys in those moments when they're leaving you guys open?
Shoot the ball. I mean, that was their game plan to sink their four into the post on like reversals. I was at the top of the key and they did that to me, and I shot it and I made it, and I asked 12, well, like, what are they doing? And they said Kofi was the game plan. So I mean, that was just their game plan to just sink and just, you know, try to freeze you up. But we practice those shots every day. Especially early in the season in a game like this, and kind of catch you off guard when you're extremely wide open like that. But definitely just shoot the ball. We're college players. Coleman's a really good shooter. Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Another question about Luke Goody. He grabbed you guys and huddled you guys up at one point. That seems rare for a true freshman. Is that normal for him? Like, he seems very talkative and vocal for a true freshman.
It's becoming normal. I demanded that from them the other day. We had a team meeting, and I basically demanded them to be like young leaders. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you see something, say it. I mean, we're a team, you know. When we're well connected like that, when we have everybody talking, everybody communicating, and you know, you have respect for the younger guys, that gives them confidence, you know, to step up and, you know, do things that they wouldn't normally do. You get what I'm saying? And it's a confidence booster for them. So I asked him to do it, and he's been doing it a lot lately. I expect that to come from RJ and all the freshmen and all the newcomers, you know, just stepping up and taking that role on being leaders. Leader doesn't come from age and experience. It comes from, you know, just having the confidence to say what you see and, you know, picking somebody up.
Yeah, Indiana, PA, they're good. Knew exactly what we were getting into. An old team, an experienced team. Again, a team that did everything that we talked about in practice and pre-practice, and did it to the T. And give Joe and his team a ton of credit. Tonight, couldn't make a coach any happier in a preseason game. I mean, if I tell you how ecstatic I am, truthfully, I cannot wait to watch the film, and I cannot wait till tomorrow's practice and Monday's practice and the next day's practice. I cannot wait, because now we have no offense to St. Francis, but now we have some growth to do, and then I see, and I hope everybody saw the importance of DeMonte and Hutch and obviously Trent, because you know, we sure as hell couldn't guard the ball tonight. But and I will say this, I'm really disappointed in our complete lack of immaturity. I mean, our maturity level was not good, and we do that in practice. We chirp all the time when managers or coaches make a bad call, and that's on me. We got to quit that, and we will get that handled. So, just give them a ton of credit, and know that I'm going to go to bed tonight really happy, because we got some work to do.
Okay, questions for Coach?
Brad, the other day you seemed like your team needed a wake-up call. Is this the wake-up call you wanted to give them?
Oh yeah, I mean there was no doubt, and you couldn't have scripted anything any better, to be honest. I mean, now obviously don't want Trent, but those freshmen all had to play. They all had to step in. They all had to play meaningful minutes. I thought that we knew how they were going to play defensively, what they do. They're a top 5 team in DER in Division II. The paint was wide open. We saw, we saw them. We call it a dork. They dorked Coleman. Didn't guard him. And said, fire them all up there. See how many you can make. And he's a really good shooter. He just got out of rhythm and started thinking about it a little bit. So we saw so many things tonight that are really good for us. And Bello didn't have one of his better games with 10 turnovers. We got to get that corrected. And then they picked on us. They picked on. They had a great game plan and went right at Curbelo, and without Trent in the game, guarding the ball was a challenge. So a lot of things to get better with.
Is there any update on Trent, DeMonte, or Hutch?
No, I think that everything becomes a little bit day to day with the 2 guys who were out, and I don't know anything yet on Trent.
Seems like Kofi and Jacob were pretty visibly upset when they came in here, and they said, they didn't play to the standard. Is that a sign of culture, and are you maybe happy to see them recognizing that, hey, this isn't our best, and we're not just going to walk out of here like, oh, we just, won a game?
I hope there's a standard that's set, and they know what that standard is. They shouldn't feel very good. They should not feel very good about the way they played and the effort with which they did it. We practiced really well yesterday. We were awful. Because we had a crazy week of practice with some off days in there. But we got a lot of work to do, and I'm glad that they understand that that's not the standard we have set.
Go ahead.
Coleman's technical foul on the sideline. He was playing a pretty good game, was doing a lot of different things. Can you kind of just dissect what you saw from him tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he played with really good energy. He got out and ran. You start to see, his what we see, in practice all the time. You see his talent, and he's a guy that again can do a lot of things. He's a better shooter than his 2 for 7 numbers, but he gets on the glass. He's consistently on the glass. He does that every day in practice. 5 offensive rebounds, but he's a guy that's going to be a very, very good scorer for us. And to be quite honest, he's been one of our better defenders. And I didn't think he was as good tonight defensively as he's been in practice.
Brad, how do you evaluate the roller coaster ride that was Andre Curbelo tonight, offensively and defensively?
It wasn't his best performance. Let's just put it that way. And we've all seen him be very, very good, and that starts in practice, and that starts with the culture of doing it every day in practice, and finding a consistency there that is good, and he'll get there. The man's got a lot of pride, but the 10 turnovers, we'll get that figured out. I got to help him more. The lack of defense, we got to go to work there because they picked on him.
You talked about RJ and his improvement throughout the week. How much since he came to you has his defense and his understanding of defensive principles improved?
A lot. RJ's got a chance to be a lockdown defender. I was excited tonight because we put him on their young man, number 13, really got going, and wanted to watch him. And then we also threw him on number 3, their kid has been a really good player for them and a big scorer. We wanted to see him guard multiple positions, and he did that. But he's growing, he's getting better, and he's got to continue to do the little things: dive on the floor for loose balls, take charges, crack down in a rotation. Those are all things that take time.
Brad, this isn't a starting lineup question, but Coleman started tonight with Kofi and with your starting group. What kind of look does he give you with his skill set there?
Yeah, I mean he's a consistent stretch four that it can play some five and that can guard some threes, and so we get a tremendous amount of versatility out of him. He's a guy that I think is going to be a really good playmaker. And again, they threw a little curveball at him tonight, dorking him. But he's a guy who can make shots, and so I've been very, very pleased with Coleman until his immature moment, chirping at their bench in a game that wasn't over. So that I can promise you that's not happening again with any of our guys.
Alfonso Plummer seemed to get a lot more shots tonight than he did against St. Francis. Seemed to be schemed up more. You said you were going to do that. What'd you kind of see from him shooting the ball? He came out really hot.
Yeah, I think the big thing with Plum is we got to get him in great shape. I thought he got tired. I thought he was, we played him a lot of minutes, and we've got to get him in shape to where he's concentrating, knocking down shots at the end of the game. And that was quite a drastic difference. But he is an elite shooter, and I'm just telling you that. I mean, he's got a quick release, he's got a deep range. Early, I thought he was tremendous, and we tried to run some actions to get him, quick little pin downs and execute. But now we got to get him, knowing what we're doing coming out of a timeout, and we've got to get him to guard and do those things, and we'll get him there.
Is conditioning part of it with Omar, only 9 minutes, and this one, same in the first exhibition as well?
No, I don't know if it was as much that. It's partly, but I think we've got to get Omar rebounding, and his ability to chase balls on the glass has got to be something that he owns. And it was not the intent to play him 9; it was the intent to play him a lot more. But again, there was some breaks in the game early, and I was visibly challenged. We didn't get Kofi the ball, and so I wanted to leave Kofi in there for some of that as well. But Omar's going to have to contribute at a much higher level, and that's on me to help get him there.
Brad, there was a moment Luke Goody grabbed his teammates, veterans, and was talking, and he seems pretty vocal on the court. Is that normal, or what are you seeing from him?
He's a quarterback. He's a high school quarterback, and he has some of the most incredibly natural, instinctive leadership qualities, and he has got a tremendous maturity about him for a young guy. He's not afraid to do that. And I talked. I told you the other day, he's a big trash talker. He is, but he also is next play, let's go. And he's got a very mature presence about him.
I just want to ask you about the ceremony before. I know you talked yesterday about it being a closure moment, but to have that in front of you, what was that like today with Io back? And then as a second part, can you give me the origin of the big stomp that you guys all do?
Yeah, you guys see the Kofi's last thing he does in the pregame warmups last year? It was that big foot down and that big stomp. So that's where that kind of originated, and so then we just took it on as a collective group and as a team, and it became kind of our rallying cry. We had a little motto that Derek knows. I think Jason Mary had a shirt on tonight that signifies what our motto was, but I won't repeat that in this room. So, but the stomp was part of Kofi's deal. But what a spectacular night, and probably didn't help us in the game. It was probably the distractions as well, but his Io coming back was great. let him enjoy that and get his ring. And again, I'm a big fan of jewelry, and it's really a sign of an accomplishment. But I'm more excited to see our guys' reactions, and how excited they were. And I mean, they've been buzzing about that all day. So yeah, job well done. Now let's move, and let's go